What's up, everybody? How you feeling today? I got some very exciting charts to look at today. I hope you're all feeling good. We're gonna be getting going here in about 4 minutes or so. So hang out, jam to the vibes, get involved in the chat, ask some questions, talk about what you're looking at right now. Where do you think price is going? Do you think we're getting that drop, or do you think this is a fake out to the downside and a potential up? Let us know. Comment down below as well if you're watching this later. We're going to be getting going here in just a few moments. I'm feeling it today. I'm so excited to get in here with you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you that shows up on a daily basis. I also appreciate people that are here and new. Hope you're all feeling good. We got a lot of the perfect like to viewership ratio, so right on for that. Appreciate that. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Let's think about what we're grateful for before we get into these charts. We're breaking this down in 2 minutes. As everybody starts to flood in here, we're going to see a lot of people come into the show here in about 5 minutes or so, right after we get going. So let's welcome the new people in. Let's stay positive. Let's be that empowering, encouraging community. We're going to get this going in a moment. Man, aren't you guys, who's excited for this price drop? If you're frustrated, we got to get your strategy right, because this is creating these opportunities that you can use to make money in this market. So let's definitely get involved with this price drop. Make sure we have a strategy set. Let's go ahead and let's get this vibing. We're going to get going here in just a moment. Says not fully positioned. Please tell me what I want to hear and make it so. Everybody, get your thoughts. Ask your questions. You guys are here early. You're the ones that I get to really pay attention to. I'll see it before I go live here in 30 seconds. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Let's go ahead, everybody, and say something in the chat. Let us know you're here. Let us know you're live. Drop some emojis. All the members, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being a member. I see those beakers filling up next to your names. And you know what? We're about to get it. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the community. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. My name is Kelly Kellum, and I'm here to break these markets down, give you tools, resources, strategies, encouragement, empowerment, and also a community here where we can grow together. We can figure out the strategies that can make us the most money and prevent us from losing money. That's what this is all about. And I hope you are okay with that. I hope you want to make some money. I hope you want to share your strategies as well as learn strategies, because this is a community endeavor. Let's grow together, because the best opportunity of our lifetime is in front of us. And if you're watching this video right now, that means you are ahead of the rest of the world, because you're already on your path to education. You're already on your path to success. So let's dominate this together. Now, we got something to talk about. Bam! Bitcoin taking a little bit of a tumble to the downside. And this is on the 15-minute chart. But remember, zoom out. Let's go on the 3-day. 3-day, we're still well within this area, but we already have things marked out on these charts about where price can go. Now, everybody was upset with me, or not everybody. There were some of you that were upset with me or frustrated that I was showing some, potential bearishness coming in the last week or two. And now it's like, what do you see? You see the price going to some of those areas that I was already talking about, keeping you all in the know, because that's what this is about. I want to make sure that you all have a good idea of what the possibilities of where price is going, because we see this right here. Price is dropping, but if you have a strategy, if you have a plan, if you had already mapped out these lower sides of price action, which I've been talking about for the better part of 2 weeks, even before the ETF launch, about this potential downside. So I hope if this was challenging for you, because you wanted it to go up, you thought I was so wrong, and now you're seeing the price drop, this is what you need to do. You got to be looking at this chart without bias and say, what do the technicals say? What does historical trends say about this market? Where could it likely go? And even if you are bullish, look at a bearish outlook. If you very bearish, look at a bullish outlook. You should always have multiple different views and different target levels in both directions so that you can stay ahead of the curve. That's what this is about. So I hope you're all feeling well. Let's get a little bit of a roll call in here. We got 133 people just piled in. Every single one of you, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Whether you agree with what I'm saying or not, this is what this is all about. I should be but one voice in your head, and you should be making your own decisions from all the different data points that you're getting. So where are you tuned in from? What city, what state, what country? What is the last move you made in the market? Let me know in the comments or in the comments down below if you're watching later. What did you buy, sell, or are you just holding? And what coin was that? Let's see what everybody's vibing on right now as you come in. And again, my name's Kelly Kellum. If this is your first time, very happy to have you here. This is not going to be your last time. So let's go ahead and dive on into it. Looking at what's going on in the chart, we are seeing a little bit of that bleeding in the chart to the downside. Is it expected? Were there signs in the market that suggested this was going to happen? But of course, I say, because when you zoom out on this, we've been talking about this for the last 2 or 3 weeks, even before the ETF. And what is that? This major trend line. I just talked about this on the Discover Crypto show, and I talked about it yesterday here as well. But this major trend line, and then this major trend line, and this major trend line. What I want you to pay attention to is that, wow, this feels so far away right now, but we can still use it as an idea about where price could go, because we've already flirted with this line here and broken it. We've already flirted with this line here and broken it. And just to give you context, this is how far back these trend lines are going. And what we're seeing here is some pretty big weakness in the market as this flushed out the liquidity. We talked about this yesterday, and we're going to be talking about some other stuff today, but I have to characterize this for you. And we see this breakdown in formation, losing this level, losing this level, losing this level, losing this level now. And on all accounts, I just want you to notice, when we lost all these levels here, the retracement on this, when this did come down, it was so minuscule. It was so small. Let me zoom in on this. So small. You see this? We lost these 2 levels, and then we only were able to get up to this the smallest time frame of all these lines that we're looking at is the only one that we were able to retest here. Rejected, rejected, rejected. A little bit of a fake out, a little bit more of a fake out. If you're only wanting it to go long, this is where you get trapped. It's why it's called a bull trap. Starts to move up. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get it before it explodes, only to have it reverse. And then you ask yourself, how come every time I buy it drops? Because you're buying on emotion. You're not buying on strategy. And this formation right here, regardless of how hopeful you are from the ETF, this suggested a trend reversal, especially looking here on this larger, going into the 8, 12-hour daily. We see this formation. We see it. We see these reversal candles as well as a chart formation. And by the way, we break all this down in BitLab Academy in this candles and candle patterns courses. here to help make sure that you understand what's going on. We also have a lot of stuff going on in the Discord with Corduroy and John Dalton and myself and Joshua Jake and TA Tim in here breaking down all these things going on in the market. So make sure you're paying attention and tuning in on the Discord because we're sharing so much alpha there. So get involved. But this was telegraphing last impulse. Why is this? Look how large this impulse was. This is a little bit smaller, and this is quite a bit smaller. And we came into that technical level at $48,000, a golden pocket. And so it's not shocking to me. We just got an ETF, all this capital flow. It should be able to go up. Well, things don't happen immediately, especially when you fundamentally change or add new things to it's like having a field, right? And let's say you buy a property near a field. Let's say you buy a property near a field because you think the value is going to go up because you got some inside knowledge. They're going to clear the field and do a development. Well, if you buy a property next to that field, it may initially drive up the price and the speculative value of that home or that property, but then it may come back down because it turns out to clear the field and build out the entire development may take 3 to 5 years. That's essentially what's happening right now to Bitcoin. Everybody's expecting the ETF is going to flood and absolutely drive the price to the upside. And we got that speculation all the way since back here. When was it? All the way since back here in June when we got that initial BlackRock spot ETF announcement. And then a bit of a sell-off. And I think it actually was over here. No, it was over here. And the price, I mean, we talked about this yesterday. The price moved up 85%. So a pullback right now is exactly what we want. So let's not get beside ourselves and say, it's not moving for me right now. Patience, young Padawan, patience. Let the market mature and deliver on those upside price actions that we will see. It may just not happen in this moment. Right now, what's happening? Right now, let me say this. Right now, what's happening in the market with the price drops in Bitcoin and some of the other altcoin markets is the fact that they're giving you another opportunity to take advantage of better prices before one of the most epic bull runs we probably will see. Why is that? We've had a huge run up in price action on Bitcoin and a lot of alts. We haven't seen any major pullbacks. So don't be frustrated that the price is dropping. Be excited that you have better opportunity. That's what this is about. And that's a healthy mindset and a healthy strategy. So let's break down some of these charts. That's what we're going to do right now. So looking where we're at, this is looking ominous. This is looking a little bit like a head and shoulders right here. If this is a head and shoulders, let's go ahead and bring this up on the screen. If this is a head and shoulders, let's go. So we got the shoulder, head, shoulder. If this is, let's go ahead and measure that out. Well, let's see where that goes. Wow, it goes almost directly to where this line, that line is, yeah, right here, which is these lows, these highs, okay? This would also project all the way across to these lows over here. This would flush out that CME futures gap, which is directly below us. So there's multiple points of confluence. Does this mean this is going to break down and go to this target? It does not mean that. It means on a historical analysis basis, based on how trends tend to mature or realize themselves, we had a bullish impulse, much larger bullish impulse, and then a weak bullish impulse. This is essentially what a head and shoulders looks like. This is a reversal pattern suggesting a downside target. So the target is measured from the top of this head to about where the neckline is. And that's what this measurement is right here. Top of the head to about where the neckline is. And the target that this suggests is down here at this $35,000 level. Now, do you agree? I want to see everybody in the room. We got 173 people in the room, only 32 likes. Every one of you should let your mother know that you love her by hitting that like button because she raised you right, giving some engagements to this channel so YouTube supports this and also lets YouTube know you like crypto content. So you're not only helping the channel, you're helping the entire crypto ecosystem. But the point is, I want to know from all of you right now in the comments, either in the live chat or down below, do you think $35,000 is likely? Actually, if Alex Green, if you're in the chat, or Alexander G, I don't know if you have access, do a poll. I want to see if you guys think $35,000 is going to be hit. Now, some people might think we're going to go a little bit lower and get down here into this area here. Remember I talked about this red support line? We've tangled with this line up here. We've tangled with this big blue line. We've lost both of those. Now, Are we going to get all the way down into this level? This would be a dream buy opportunity for me because I know it's coming. So what's coming? Let's talk about that. First off, we have a couple things we're going to talk about very briefly, and we're going to get right back into the charts. So don't go anywhere. And again, if you are new here, let us know that you are new here so we can welcome you to the family. And shout out again to all the members that are here. I appreciate each and every one of you. We've got the best, one of the best communities out there. It's all positive, empowerment, encouraging, tools, resources. That's what this is about. So let's go head over here to the X Factor here. Make sure you're giving me a follow at Kelly Kellam, KELOYKELLAM. Just sharing that so you're not following any of those fake profiles. And then here at Academy BitLab. Now, James Seifert, this is one of these things that's affecting what's going on in the crypto market right now. What's the flows? Well, we don't need to go through all this. We're going to go through this very quickly so we can dive right back into the charts. Well, here's my day 4 Bitcoin ETF Kentucky Derby update. GBTC Grayscale still accounting for more than half of the trading volume, but this is interesting. But flows into other ETFs still ahead of GBTC outflows. So if we move that over to this chart right here, we can see best day for Bitcoin ETF inflows yet, meaning we're starting to see a little bit of that reshuffling of the deck that everybody's worried about and wondering about with transferring out of GBTC. And there's a lot that's married into that we've covered on here, talking about the negative premium arbitrage, talking about the higher fees, talking about some people were just playing that until other ETFs were available. So maybe they're rotating capital out. And remember, when all this money, especially in GBTC, is rotating out for whatever reason that it is, let's say anywhere from 20% to 80% of that gets reallocated to new ETFs. That doesn't get pulled out of GBTC and immediately get transferred over into these other ETFs. Because remember, this is part of the traditional financing system. Traditional finance system, I should say. Crypto is near immediate. Traditional finance is slow as a snail. So if people are withdrawing funds from GBTC and they do want to reallocate to these ETFs, it's going to take anywhere from 4 to 14 days, and some cases longer, for all of that capital to be basically go through the slower plumbing of the traditional finance system, and then the individual person that those capital funds belong to or institutions, then they can reallocate it to then put it back into a new ETF. Because remember, this is going through the traditional finance system. So we may see a new resurgence of inflows in the coming 2 weeks as some of those capital funds that have been pulled out of GBTC do get put back into other ETFs or directly into Bitcoin itself. But this is something we cannot know, but we can be aware of this sort of time delay on how all these funds are flowing. We got 184 people in the room. Hit that like button. Now let's go ahead and talk about, we have a couple more things and we're going to jump right back into the charts. We're talking about right here, these inflows. Well, we see Wall Street giant Fidelity now holds 20,000 Bitcoin already in under a week of the ETF, worth over $800 million. We also see BlackRock now holds 25,000 Bitcoin, worth over $1 billion. These institutions are coming in hard and fast, and it feels slow right now in the moment, but it's going to shock the world how this asset class grows over the next 5 years. And every one of you is ahead of the institutions because you're already here. You were here, most of you, I would say 99%, before this ETF approval. So you get to mark yourself with the badge of being here first, being smarter than smart money. Now, don't chop yourself out of this money just because you're trying to greedily capitalize on every small move in the market. Pick your shots, let the setups show themselves, find confluence, know what your time horizon is on whatever asset you're trading, and put that plan to action. Now, I talked about this very briefly on Discover Crypto, but I just wanted to bring it up. It's right here, value days destroyed. I talk about this actually in the BitLab Academy on-chain data analysis course, which is part of the entire BitLab Academy here. You get access to all these courses, and as new courses show up, you get access to those as well. You can enroll right here. But I break this down, and I think there's 20 different on-chain metrics that I break down in here. And essentially what we're looking at, where's it at, is this is graphing out, it's mapping out, showing you, you're getting a picture of when especially older coins move. Now, why is that important? Because older coins are people that have some idea of what's going on in the market. They've been holding through a lot of volatility. When you see this spike, This means a coin was transacted. It was moved from one wallet to somebody else's. It was sold. Especially when this is peaking like this, it's basically shooting up. You're seeing coin days. So if I held a coin for 10 days and I sell it, then that's 10 coin days destroyed. If I've been holding the coin for 5 years and I sell it, transact it, move it, then that basically burns those number of days. What's up? Oh, hey. They could pop in here. It's all good. We got people touring the space right now. But essentially what you're seeing is the older coins moving, which kind of gives you an indication of what smarter money is doing in this space. So if there's some profits being taken from the smarter money, look at what that resulted in price. Now, this doesn't look like there was any downside price action when these happened, but if you really look here and correlate these peaks to the price, dip, again, dip. What do you see? Dip. What do you see here? Dip. Again, dip. Where are we doing right now? We are suggesting that some long-term players are taking a little bit of profits in the zone, which when that happens, if an old coin from somebody with strong hands is sold to somebody else in retail, then you're giving it to somebody with weak hands. Even if they're a trader, that's a weak hand. If you're trading in and out, that means you're not enduring through volatility. So essentially you get top heavy at that level and price action may likely come down. This is what we're seeing. And look at when these peak up here in this red. This really marks great market cycle tops. Now, looking at this right here, the realized price. This is all, see how all these realized prices are together. So we're seeing the spread of previous cycles of where price was in relationship to where the realized price, the average price of every coin on network that's out in supply, the average price the last time it moved, the last time it was sold. Okay. And so we're seeing this spread. We're actually a little high comparatively than we've been in previous cycles with where we're at in the cycle in relationship to when the halving is. So there's a couple things that have been suggesting that we are a little hot. Doesn't mean we can't go up from here. In fact, I think we might have a little bit of flush out to the upside, but I do think we're going to get that pre-halving dump. Of course, look at this green metric. This is the best and most bullish thing in the market right here. This is where we're at. And as adoption really see percent of population using Bitcoin. Once we hit a 10% threshold, which is going to be, I think it'll likely be a little bit sooner than this. This is saying around 2030. But this is when you get an explosion in adoption, which will be probably pretty astronomical pressure for a Bitcoin price. So this is bullish. But what we're also seeing here on this is a reduction in the new supply being printed each day, because there is inflation on Bitcoin. You have to know that. This is what the halving is all about. It's a reduction in the inflation by half every 210,000 blocks, which is about 3 years and 10 months. This is that halving cycle everybody's talking about. And you see this impact of new supply coming in early in the life cycle. And as a halving is happening, we're getting less and less and less new supply in correlation, corresponding also with an explosion in adoption that's coming. Do you know what this means for price going into the next 15 years? Are you not bullish? Are you not entertained? Let's get on it. Let's not waste this opportunity. Now, looking right here, I talked about this also. I got some new charts that I'm going to show you here in just a moment. But this is interesting. This is the first time I saw this chart from Titan of Crypto, Washigororia. I can't really pronounce that, but something like that. A measurement from the previous all-time high to what the price was on the day of the halving. You see this was minus 56, and then it reduces to minus 54, and then it reduces to minus 52. This is from the top to what the price is on the day to halving. If we kept that trajectory, and remember, this number may not be exact, but regionally, it's giving a pretty good indication of about where price ends up being on the day to the halving. So this is suggesting 34,000. So let's go back to that chart. What did this measurement go down to? Look at this. Head and shoulders, what does this come down to? 35,000, right in that region. So there's technical levels and historical analysis that are saying, hey, that $34,000 to $35,000, $36,000 region is looking pretty likely on a technical and chart analysis level basis. So we're getting a lot of different things lining up here that are suggesting that. Now, on the other hand, if you're getting everything lining up that says something, maybe everybody gets fooled. Maybe that's max pain. But either way, we have to pay attention to this area, let alone the CME futures gap that's directly below us. So let's get back into what we were talking about here, and we're about to go on. Now, here's another look I know Tech Dev, I share Tech Dev's charts on here regularly, but this is looking at the 10-year bond. Okay. Sorry, the 1 year, not 10-year, 1 year bond. I just got a little dyslexic there. So this is what you expect to see in Bitcoin according to the United States 1 year government bonds yield. And what are we looking at? This is kind of like when we look at the dollar chart compared to Bitcoin. When dollar's up, Bitcoin tends to be down, and when Bitcoin's up, dollar tends to be down. This is very similar because we're seeing this bond is a good gauge of what's going on in the economy. You see, as this is down, look at Bitcoin price up. You see, as Bitcoin is up, this is down. And this is getting up to that point right now on this sort of broadening wedge, and it's rolling over on top of that, suggesting that we may start seeing a decline in this, which historically we've seen correlated with the rise in Bitcoin price. So what the hell is Kelly saying? He just said price is going to go down, and now he's telling us this is going to go up. You have to understand the time frame that you're talking about when you're looking at charts. I am incredibly bullish on the macro for Bitcoin. And with that being said, I look for these opportunities. Where is it at? I look for these opportunities with charts like this. I look for these opportunities with charts like this, with charts like this. Okay, I'm macro bullish. Absolutely. We talked about it on that last chart we just looked at. This is setting up for a macro bullish move. So if we have a big move coming, then don't you want to be aware of a midterm bearishness so you can capitalize on the price at the best value for your dollar? I am so bullish. But in the midterm, maybe I have a little bit of a bias wanting that price to go down. But even in that feeling, I'm seeing charts that are suggesting that of my own and other people's. Now, also, I want to just point out here on a macro level, net liquidity versus global M2 update. So we're talking about money in the market. When there's new money coming in, there's new fuel coming in the market, it tends to be a buoy and positive pressure for risk assets, equities, investments, etc. So what we're seeing here is U.S. net liquidity, which is this upper chart right here, after a local low in late December 2023, so about a month ago, U.S. net liquidity is trying hard to break out of its sideways channel that it has been trapped in since April 2022. So what is this talking about? This is the channel right here, and we see the liquidity bouncing in here as people try to figure out what the hell to do. But you see, it's coming right up into this zone right now, and it may break out, but it's also rounding right here. There is still a possibility that this is not yet, and we know this because we're also seeing right here on this chart, which I share with you all on a regular basis. This is a global liquidity, not just U.S. This is everybody. All the major economic powers in the world. And I've shared this with you before, but you can see this Bitcoin price. There's a very strong correlation. When global liquidity is down, we also see the Bitcoin price cycle down. When global liquidity is on the rise, we also see pretty large bullish impulses on his. And in fact, right here, when the FTX collapse happened, this was that collapse right here. We see the global liquidity was shooting up sharply, leading before this move started coming. Now, everybody talks, not everybody, Tech Dev talks about this regularly, about is it really the halving cycle that's driving these 4-year market cycles with Bitcoin, or is it the global liquidity cycle? And I've talked about this before. It's my contention that Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he, she, or they were, obviously pretty smart. And it seems like why not set up the schedule of what's happening with the halving to somehow loosely correlate to when the money flow cycles are going to happen in the market as well. So you get a bit of a confluence, a double whammy of pressure that drives prices up. And when that goes down, you also have the ability for prices to come down. Now, why would we want that? We want these liquidity cycles and we want these market cycles to have this movement as we've seen in the past, because at the end of the day, we are in this market because we want to make money. We want our value to go up. We can also have other arguments and predilections and thoughts about, well, it's also for freedom and self-sovereignty, but it also, you're not going to put the money in here for self-sovereignty if it only loses you money, right? So these liquidity cycles and this volatility that we've seen over the last 3 cycles that we've had has created incredible opportunity if you're able to capitalize on it. So this is why, as bullish as I am on where this is going, and we looked at this chart right here, potentially this lower price action, but also marrying that with this idea of global adoption has not even really started to hit yet. This means to me that when I'm looking at this chart, I welcome this downside price action because it means there's still opportunity to get in at incredible prices before the true bull gives us the horns, right? So are you bullish on this? I know I'm bullish on this. And they died, pissed at me. I don't know what that said. Kangs Kelly, shout out Quarter Crawler. You got the buy the dip emoji in there. Pay for your taxes, lurkers. That's right. Hey, by the way, we do have a partner here on this channel that has great tax service here, decrypted.tax. If you go to decrypted.tax/hit network, you can come in here, get 50% off their standard pricing here. You got to do your crypto taxes. That's one area I think the IRS and the government, especially people that are in the government that are slightly, on the against side of crypto. This is one area that they can really jack with people if you're not doing your taxes. Because remember, all this is on chain. At some point, they're going to find out where that money came from. So it's good. I've already started on getting my taxes done here with Decrypted, and it's great service. So use this, get the discount, check it out. They got a crypto tax professionals in there. So I want to talk about some things on here though. We talked about this potential downside price action. This does not rule out the possibility of another impulse at some point from a news story or from a big buy or something that will drive the prices up. I do think if this does go to the upside, remember where we are at in relationship to this line right here. This is actually adjusted now because I have this on April 15th. It's actually more likely to be around here, around April 5th, which also means we have less time, we have less opportunity, but it also means if we are going to get any sort of pre-halving pullback, that time window is closing. And if this does push up into this, I still think regardless of when this pullback happens, we will get somewhere between a 25 and 40% pullback. I would put money on it. And I put money on it every day with how I'm investing and trading in this market. So this is giving that setup that's suggesting it may be in the near term, but these things, these patterns, all these things are able to be broken. If we do get a push to the upside, I'm on the daily. Let's go to the 4 hour. If we do, look at this, came down as testing this line right here. Lost this. Look at this. Rejection, rejection. If we do get a push to the upside, I'm watching this blue line right here. Ultimately, if we're able to take out this zone, then I do think we're going to attempt back up here into the $47,000, $49,000 range. But I don't think it's going to be a rise continuation. I think more likely than not, if we do get an impulse to the upside, we'll get rejected somewhere in this region here and come back and maybe just chop sideways. That can be something too. Sometimes people get chopped out of the market on sideways price action because they keep trying to catch the bottom and they get chopped out and keep trying to catch the bottom. So let's be patient here. Let's find our areas that we want to take shots on and take those shots. Do it with a conservative sort of conscious here. Arbitrum, we talked about this yesterday on the price action. I was saying how these things were looking a little bit bearish, especially with this M formation at the top here. And what do we get? We kind of form this falling wedge pattern, which tend to break bullish. But again, they don't always have to. That's why they're around 60 to 65%. This is why you always need to plan for both directions. And where is this going? This lost this area, came down, and it's testing, look at this, previous highs right now. If I put a line there, Option J, if you're on PC, it's Alt J for a horizontal ray. We are testing this region right here, this previous high, look at this. This is where we're at. Now, if we lose this, I think there's a good possibility we'll come down into this zone and find some support on these giant order blocks here, the top of these. And then we can revisit what's going on there. Now, let's do ETH. Actually, let's do ETH BTC. ETH BTC, because we have the ETH spot, what am I trying to say? The ETH spot ETF likely, deadline coming up in May, the BlackRock Bitcoin ETH spot ETF. And this has resulted in the ETH price really getting this incredible price action. I mean, look at it. If we zoom out on this, Ethereum has been bleeding against Bitcoin since September of 2022. On this top, we had this large impulse to the downside and then a huge resurgence. So let's take it from right here. September 4th, 2022, the value of your ETH against Bitcoin has been dropping with some chop along the way. until we ultimately came down. And look at this. It's like we came down and jumped on a trampoline. It's like, no, we want to double jump ourselves. And we get down and shooting up here to the upside. But what we have not done yet is cleared these previous lows. So we're at a little bit of a decision point right now as to what exactly is going to happen in the near future. But remember, we have that speculative, we have two things at play with ETH that we need to pay attention to. We have the positive speculation about a potential Ethereum spot ETF coming in May, while at the same time, these markets still do somewhat have a pretty strong correlation of running together with ETH and Bitcoin. Now, we have periods of time where that correlation breaks, but the question is going to be, what is the market going to have any sort of big event that drops the crypto market as a whole? But then you also have to consider, you can still see this chart moving up while Bitcoin and Ethereum see a drop in their valuation on the US dollar. So if you see the Bitcoin price or the Ethereum price going down in the US dollar or USDT pairing, you can still see the value of ETH compared to Bitcoin going up over this. Now, what does this look like? This would mean that Bitcoin is falling at a faster rate than Ethereum. So there's different metrics you can utilize when you're looking at all this to figure out where you want to position your capital to protect it in the best way possible, and which areas of the market you want to allocate your capital to, because it's going to perform the best. And I would argue, if you're trading and investing in this market and you're never looking at the BTC pairing of those coins or those assets that you're investing in, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because I see it, I hope you see it. Let me know in the comments right now, live chat, and comment down below. Do you see the fact that the world is stepping in to a new age, this digital age? Bitcoin is, I would bet my life savings on it, because it's what I'm doing, that Bitcoin is going to be that asset of the future. It's going to be the asset that's going to be the hedge. Everybody's talked about it for the last 14 years, but it really didn't have the possibility before. We have institutions on our side. We have BlackRock, we have Fidelity, we have ARK Invest, we have Bitwise, we have Grayscale, we have all the things. And we have now some legacy. It's very small, but 14 years showing that this is the best performing asset in the world. And it's agnostic to all governments. If you're not weighing and looking at your options in this market, especially for longer term plays, when to pull the trigger on certain things, you're not looking at the BTC pairings and seeing the idea, the valuation of the assets you're holding in Bitcoin, then you're kind of doing yourself a disservice, because you're holding on to something higher risk that may not even be performing as well as Bitcoin. So I'm not saying don't hold all those other things. I have altcoins. I love altcoins. I'm saying when I choose to pull the trigger on those coins, I want to get the most bang for my buck. So I look at that BTC pairing chart, whether it's ADA, Ethereum, and then I'm also looking at the US dollar chart, but I'm looking for that cross section of when it's the right moment to enter on the US dollar or USDT pairing chart. But then I'm also looking at the BTC chart to see, is Bitcoin going to be outperforming this right now? And if that's the case, then maybe I wait for a little bit, even if prices go up, until that correlation is that the asset that I was trying to get into is going to be outperforming Bitcoin. So it's not arbitrage, but it's understanding how your assets fit into the broader picture of these markets. So let's do ourselves the service of making some money in this market and looking at this. Now, Ethereum came down, got a bit of a W formation. If it doesn't look like it, let's go to the weekly. Look at that W formation. Boom, boom, boom. We got it basically double bottom with the wick here, flushing out that liquidity, and then coming up, testing this level right here. You see how much cleaner this is on the weekly chart? Now, if we get down into, let's say, the 2-hour chart, look at this. We got a bit of a bull flag here. That same area, just with a lot more resolution, a lot more candles. Got a bit of a bull flag here, and this is the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. So let's look at this. Bull flag there. And now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and take this flagpole and get an astronomical number that is just like, what the? And that is, look at this growth potential if this is going to break out in this direction now. And it may not at all. It may not even end up being. That's another 25% growth against Bitcoin. This means that whatever your ETH holdings are, if this breaks out in this way, that Ethereum is poised to potentially do a 25% stronger move than Bitcoin is if this pattern plays out the way it is. Now, this very well could also end up being a Bart Simpson pattern, which there's no indication of that right now, but I'm just saying we have a strong impulse to the upside, some chop. So let's see how this plays out. And if we do get any sort of dip from here, I'm looking at potentially right here at these tops, sort of right. Let's go ahead, go here, draw a square, this sort of zone right here. See this top and this. So coming in like this, getting down. There we go. So that top, this rejection, this sort of zone in here. This would be an excellent area if you're trading ETH to Bitcoin. This is going to be a great area for a potential pullback reset to launch. Because remember, in this market, especially with how exciting things are and where big markets and smart people are starting to realize this, we're going to have bigger players in the market. And even though this is a bullish formation, what you'll see in these excited times in the market is even though this is bullish, rather than breaking out, testing, and continue on like this, what we can see a lot of times is, oh, this is bullish. They're counting on everybody to think it's bullish. Then the price does potentially break to the upside. People go in, they ape in, and then they reverse it to the downside, flush out the liquidity, trap people going short and going basically exiting their positions. They get a better price action coming down into here and then doing something like this. That's called a whipsaw. That's one outcome. Another outcome is just dropping from here and telling people, oh no, it's not a bullish pattern, and then coming up like this and making that move. So we need to pay attention. There's a couple different things that are going on right now as the market is exuberant and excited about what's happening over the next 4 months, especially knowing that the halving is coming. So that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm thinking. That's what we need to be paying attention to. Now, I know John Dalton here in the Discord. Where's it at? Not chart request. There's been some great charts that have been pumping in the Discord lately. So definitely get involved in the Discord. If you want to really join a great community with all this premium Discord with charts, setups, daily, breakdowns of what's going on in the market, scalps, gym calls, altcoin spot trades. I even break some stuff down in this free area, really showing what's going on, what we're looking at, and why. Get in the Discord. You can sign up to be a full member of BitLab Academy here at bitlabacademy.com. Enroll right here. Join us. You get access to all these courses, which are broken down into bite-sized little lessons for each specific topic, each specific candle, each specific pattern. As well, with that, you get access to the premium Discord, which is all of this. So I want to see you guys in there. I want everybody to be engaging in there. So we're going to be talking about that more in a second. Oh, so Ethereum, I want to go and look at this ETH to USD chart. Now we got 201 people in the room, 65 likes. Hit that like button if you like crypto. Hit that like button if you love your mother. Everybody should be hitting that like button right now. So we're seeing right here, Ethereum USD. You saw how we saw that large impulse to the upside on the ETH to Bitcoin pairing. But in this same time frame, we're seeing a drop in price here on the US dollar. So it's not looking as bullish here. Getting a little bit of a flush out. Look, this is what I'm talking about. Flush out to the upside, trap people long, coming back down to this area. If we lose this area, I think we're coming down here to the lower 24, 2,418 sort of level. This is previous highs. If we lose this, then I think we may be really testing the patience of people and testing down here into this 2270 to 2250 sort of level. Now, that's a good thing, in my opinion, because we have ultimate bullishness coming up for where this market cycle is. So I welcome downside, and I hope you guys do too. If you don't, that means maybe you're a little bit out of position. Now, looking at the broader market, this is a total 3. Altcoins looking like they're poised to break down. We got 2 things going on here. Look at this. Shoulder, head, shoulder. That's pretty big. And then smaller, head, shoulder, head, shoulder. So 2 reversal patterns on a midterm macro and on a more local sort of time basis. Just pay attention to this. If this were to play out, this would mean that there's a pretty damn big washout coming to the market, which is, what is it? That is $72 billion potentially could be coming out of the altcoin market if this breaks down on this larger head and shoulders. Now, I don't tend to like to see head and shoulders like this that are so sideways. I just want to point this out because there may be some people that's seeing this. The point here is that as bullish as things have been, there hasn't been any real cooling off period for people to really consolidate, reaccumulate, and send that rise retrace is what we were looking for, continuation. And on the smaller time frame, we have this kind of sort of head and shoulders right here. And we are currently in process of breaking down out of this. Now, I'm just saying this. So remember, on the macros, bullish as I am, it's looking like there's going to be some opportunities for lower prices in the markets. Let's go through a couple of these coins. I forgot to look at SEI yesterday. So let's look at that. Look at that. Boom. It's pushing up, a little bit bearish here. And we got that pullback and we're kind of working our way up to the upside. But the concern here is that on SEI, we're kind of testing this previous top. And right where we see this, look at this, M formation. And then additionally over here, we got an M formation again, double top right at the same level. So this is something we really want to pay attention to if we want the opportunity to get this asset. If you haven't, if it's something that you felt like you missed the boat, this is flirting with this area to potentially come down and test down into the 60-cent sort of level and potentially lower down into this zone here, about 50 cents. So somewhere between 60 and 50 cents, I think would be a great opportunity to buy. Now that's not that big of a drop, but it is a pretty substantial drop. I mean, look, that's 20%. That means you can get 20% more. It's actually going to be more than that because as the price drops, your value to buy gets stronger, right? If it drops to here, that's a 31% drop. Now, if we're able to hold this and retest up into the zone at 85 cents and break out, then maybe we'll see some upside, but things are looking rather bearish right now on the 4-hour. So what does ADA, Cardano look like? Cardano, I mean, had this sort of rounding weakness for the bulls, roundingness right here. If we come down to this other chart, yeah, look at this. We had this bull pennant here, symmetrical triangle, really, if we just want to call it that, and broke to the downside. Some impulse down, coming back up, retesting these lows, and now coming back down. Are we going to see better prices for Cardano? If we can hold in this region where we're at right now, I think we're going to be fine. Especially if we hold above 47 cents. But if we do lose that could result in a larger capitulation down here into basically the high 30s, 38, 39 sort of cents. But you know what that says to me? If that happens, that's an opportunity to get the Cardano at a 23% discount. I'm bullish on that. Remember, I moved this year from New York to Atlanta. Okay. I got a whole new place. Ended up buying a car in September. Spent a lot of money. And I took some profits. Hardest thing to do, take profits out of the market. I took some profits so I wasn't paying for things on credit. Took some profits out of my crypto. And I'm looking for these opportunities to make sure that I'm stacked for this bull market. So let's look at GRT. GRT looks very similar to what we just saw on Cardano. It's a little different, but in this sort of formation right here where we're seeing this rolling over and coming down, we're testing this zone right here in the 15 cent region. We have two order blocks that are right here on the BitLab trading stack. These indicators, by the way, if you like these indicators, really showing some strong moves here. And look at this. We're losing the trend signal line, a fake out to the upside, back under the trend signal line, back under the weekly VWAP. We're sitting right here on the BitLab trading stacks volume order blocks right here that we're seeing a little bit of support, but we're also seeing the stochastics as well as the RSI, as well as the negative money flow and all this bearishness on the dashboard here on the right. So this is going to be a deciding area right here on GRT. If we cannot hold in this region, I would say basically above 15 cents, then I think we're going to get an opportunity for lower prices, potentially down even into the 13 cent sort of zone. And that would represent a 15% pullback. But if Cardano is going down 20%, you have to realize this. Cardano is going down 20%, and we see Bitcoin take any sort of substantial another 8 to 12% drop. Then an asset like GRT, the graph may be seeing not this level, but it may, let's kind of zoom out a little bit, may be coming down to this level. Yeah, 13 cents. That makes about sense right here. But it may be coming down and testing a little bit lower if that's the case, because it has a much smaller market cap. It can move much more easily. Less monetary energy is needed to make it move in either directions. ALGO, look at this. Fairly bearish here. Shoulder ahead, kind of a shoulder here. If this is the case, measuring that from the top to the neckline there, that could suggest that the price is coming down here to the 1369, 1370 zone, which is also in line with where all this chop is. So there are some things here. If we're able to hold this zone, because look at this, we're getting some bullish divergences that already played out. But if we're able to hold this zone in here, which we've already kind of lost here, we're able to hold regionally here, then maybe we chop about and move to the upside. But things are looking like in this market, like they're wanting to explore a little bit of that downside price action. Atom, Cosmos, big rounding top, come down, retrace as the next move to the downside, maybe potentially into these order block regions that are down here, already mapped out perfectly on the chart with the BitLab trading stack. Order blocks right here. We also have this this red trend line, this horizontal trend line. But what we're seeing down here, look at this, increase in momentum to the downside. Stochastics tried to make a move to the upside. This is the orange line here on the BitLab trim fuel. It's rolling over. RSI angle to the downside. No, the volume is decreasing over time. We can see this decreasing. This is telling me maybe it's going to explore down here into the 877 sort of region. If we lose that, then we're coming down to that next level. Do two more coins and we'll go. We haven't looked at XRP lately. How many of you out there are XRP fanboys, fangirls that are just waiting for this thing to rip? I know it's been frustrating for a lot of people with that initial impulse we got, remember, back here in July. And then ever since this, we've just kind of faltered. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point XRP came down to this 45-cent level, which is what? It's this trend line. Support, 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 support. Coming back down and touching that. Why is that? Because we look at this. Option F from the top to the bottom. See this? The top of this wick to the bottom of this wick. Look at where price came up to. Came up to the golden pocket, 618 right here, and rejected and came back down. This may mean that the worst is not over yet, and maybe there's some better opportunities down here. Do I think it's going to get all the way to 45 cents, 43 cents? I'm not sure about that, but I am going to be looking at where these lows are here, which is at 47 cents. So anywhere in this region here would be a good opportunity, I think. Filecoin. I know John Dalton here in, where is it at? I saw it this morning. Yeah, it's right here. John Dalton was showing potential opportunity in Filecoin if it does come down. It looks like he took a position in this and is looking for some upside. But let's see what's that looking like on the chart. Well, this is on the daily. Let's get down to the 4-hour. Okay. Well, yeah, this looks a little sketch on the bullish side right now. Option T coming out like this. Okay. So we want to watch this region right in here. If we come down and lose this line, then we immediately have these previous lows as well as these order blocks right here below us. We're going to want, if we want Filecoin to go up, we're going to want to hold this level at the basically 530 sort of region. If we're able to hold here and push back up, then we have this order block region, which is also these two previous highs that we're going to need to contend with. So on the whole, I think there could be some opportunity here, but it does look like it's trying to figure out which way it wants to go. We do have the momentum wave. Look at this triangle here showing a move to the upside, but we do have some choppy negative money flow, and the stochastics are starting to show a little weakness. And this is also indicated by the RSI flipping down while the stochastics are trying to roll over here a little bit. So let's see what plays out on this before we determine which direction we want to go. And ultimately, let's look at quant. I'm going to go ahead and remove all drawings on this. Oops. Remove all drawings. There we go. Now, coming out to the daily quant. I mean, look at this. Look at this pretty baby. So this is looking, so we got a pretty major trend line that we need to pay attention to right here. Support, 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 support. We're flirting with losing this, but pay attention to what we see here. We have this wicks that have gone down below here that have trapped people to the downside. But we do have a broader sort of shoulder, head, shoulder with the double top formation right here. Multiple sort of bearish indications here, but there's a little uncertainty about what's going on in the market. And this can flip on a dime with the wick down, come back up, and then launch to the upside. And this is true for all the coins that we've talked about today, because we're in a highly contested area that's very overexcited in anticipation of what's to come from the ETFs, from the new eyes in the space, from new adoption, also ultimately the Bitcoin halving, and then following that, the Ethereum potential spot ETF. So things can flip on a dime right now. Map out your areas above. In this case, I'll be watching 134.84 because this is this push to the upside coming down into this zone right here, which is also this low and these wick highs right in this zone in the middle of these order blocks. So I'll be watching for this area to be a little bit contested if the price goes up. So I have an area marked out that I'm looking at. Now, if the price goes down, we're slightly losing this right now, but it's not confirmed on this candle because the candle is not closed yet. We have 6 more hours. But if we do come down, I'm looking right here, option F or option J, I should say. This previous top, these lows right here, and the little barrier that this was right in the zone. And we can also see this line on the BitLab trading stack. This line is outlining, just like we see right here, is outlining where the previous high volume areas kind of flipped when you're seeing this reversal. And just notice is if we move this mouse across over here, look at where this wick went up into. Gave you a good idea about a price area of interest. So similarly, using the BitLab trading stack, I can look at this as from where this previous high was, but I can also look at this line, which kind of outlines that volume flip, and look at where this wick came down through this. I'm going to be watching this area. If we cannot hold 109, then I do think we're going to be coming back down here sub 100 down into the mid 90s. I think things are so bullish for where they're going. And I think in the smaller time frame, we have the opportunity, if we're patient, we employ a strategy, and we chat with each other in the BitLab Discord, ask questions, do some charts, ask for chart requests. Let's do this together. Let's grow. Let's make sure we can dominate what we're doing in this market so that we have more freedom in our lives. Let's stay positive. Let's stay grateful. Let's have gratitude for people we meet. Let's have gratitude for ourselves when we mess up. Let's have gratitude for the fact that we can do this together as a community and take advantage of the best market in the history of the world, especially with how fast it moves with all this technology and social media and global awareness just growing at an exponential rate in terms of digital assets. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I got to hit the road because I have some other things I need to do. Got to write a newsletter. I love you. Hope you have a good day. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this stream. If you liked anything in this stream, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the Discord. That's all I got. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. BitLabAcademy.com. Have you hit that subscribe button, baby? Come on, get in here. Hit that like button. Join us in this community. We'll see you another episode. Adios, muchachos. Oh, shout out to Morgan Powell for the $1.99 super chat. I'm just seeing it. Big love to you. I appreciate you.